Hello, and a really big warm welcome to this presentation from the Urban Penguin. My name is Andrew Mallett, and in today's video we're going to show you how you can learn to create your own Python package and have it uploaded to PyPi, or at least if it's a simple test package, we'll upload it to the test.py website. Come on, let's find our editor and get coding. Now here we are, not necessarily at our glorious command line, but we're in PyCharm. PyCharm is available on Windows, Mac OS, which I'm using here, as well as on Linux. And the Community Edition, which is free, is probably mainly all that you're going to need. Obviously, if you start working more with Python, then you might benefit from the professional or paid version. So I've created a brand new Python project. That's really just a directory that houses my virtual environment and any of the Python files or packages that we might be creating. For us, we want to look at how inside of our project we create the necessary support files for our package, which is going to be a subdirectory that we create within our project. So we can look at creating the required files first. The whole idea is looking at how we create our package and upload it. The first thing we're going to do is make sure that we have the latest version of pip available. On most operating systems, we would do the same thing. If we're starting a new project, make sure we've got the latest version of software. So we can do pip install -- upgrade and pip to make sure we've got the latest and greatest pip installer. We're now ready to install some of our support packages. Some we may have, some we may not have. But we're going to go through now and make sure that we've got the support files that we need, so we can go ahead and start our pip install. So running pip install, we're going to add in, first of all, I'm putting in twine. We're unlikely to have this, but this is a tool that we manage to upload our files to the repository. We can also do checks with twine. We want to make sure we've got wheel and setuptools. So as we hit the big enter key, we can view the progress. It will have already had wheel and setuptools, so it's only needing to install wheel, but we can check that from the output. Now here I'm running Mac OS. If we're running Mac OS or if we're running Linux, we can use Control and L to clear our screen. If we're running on Windows, we can use CLS. But for the moment, I've finished really with my command line environment, so I can just drag it down, putting it out of the way. So all we've done so far is just make sure that we've got the required Python files to manage what we need. We're going to make sure now that we've got the required ancillary files. So inside of my project directory at the top level, I'm creating a README.md file, MD for Markdown. So this is going to describe my project. With the Markdown language, we can go through and put our headers with a hash and space. So this is our title header. So we can put something simple. This is my simple project. We can then put some text describing it. But obviously for us, this is really test. So I'm not going to put too much in this. But in your real README file, it is your documentation. So the more detail that we put in it, then perhaps the better accepted that this is going to be by the community. So putting in a good description and maybe some great examples of how you could use your glorious code. But say for us, we don't want to look at that. We're not so interested in this. We're more interested in creating and uploading our package. So one of the files that we need is going to be the readme.md. The next file we're going to look at creating is our license file. Now for that, if you need a little bit of help deciding what type of license you should have for your project, you can go through and look at choosealicense.com. Here they give you some examples of licenses and where you should use them. I'm going to choose the middle license. I want a simple and permissive license, and that's the MIT license. We can get a sample for that by clicking on the hyperlink for MIT, and then we can copy the text. Now, of course, the license that you use is up to you as to how you want it to be used. But yeah, you can browse that site to get an idea of the different licenses. But now, back at the top level of my project, I'm creating a file called license.txt. I'm adding the .txt file because if people are downloading it in a Windows environment, the .txt extension is going to help them open it in their default application for text files. I can paste it in. Once we've pasted it in, then put in your own year, 2024 in my case, and then the urban penguin being my name. And that's it. We've got the two ancillary files, but we're going to add in a third file. The third file is going to be the setup file that is used to create our distribution files. So again, we create this at the top level of our project, new, and then moving down to Python file. And we just need to type in setup. PyCharm will add the .py to it automatically if we choose a .py file. And normally for this, you can probably use a template. So I'm going to paste my template in, and then we can just adjust the values. Now, when we go through and take a look at line 1, that's a simple import for the tools that we need, the same as line 2. And line 2 is used on line 3, where we specify our working directory. We use that on line 5 and 6 as we populate a variable called long description. We're reading in the long description from the contents of the README file that we created. As we continue down, we've then got the setup function. This we imported from setuptools, and we can set the name of our project. And if you're using this then from a template, you're probably going to need to have to edit that slightly. So I'm changing line 9, and this is then going to represent our package directory. Now this we haven't created yet, but we can then call it my underscore simple underscore test underscore package and then underscore tup. What we're really looking is for a unique name. Now, this is probably a little bit too long. It's too complex. However, the idea being that this is going to be unique within the repository. So you might even just start everything with tup underscore if that's going to be the name that you want to use. But the simpler the name, the better. We've got our version, and my version I'm saying is very early. I'm not worried about a URL. I've got the author, and then we've got the author email. And obviously my email is blanked out there. We've got the description, and then the long description. The long description coming from my README file. As we continue down, we've got then our packages going to be auto-located through the find packages. Now, if I only have the one package directory, then I probably don't need that. I could manually put in the directory name. But this is good if I've got sub-packages below my package directory. The install requires is going to be useful if I have got packages that I need installed along with mine. For example, if I had been using, say, Colorama to color my text, then I could add it in. So this is going to be a list. It's going to be comma separated. But at the moment, it's coming up as an error in PyCharm because obviously I don't have Colorama installed in my project. So I'm just going to leave this as an empty list. So this is our setup file, and it's this setup file that describes our package. It really is setting the metadata. So now we can move out to our project and create a new Python package. And with this then, we just need to put it in the name, my underscore simple underscore test underscore package underscore top. Whatever you put in the name in your setup.py file. So we can go through then and create our package. The package is going to be a directory, but that directory is going to have the dunder init Python module. This then can allow us to add additional elements. And then within that directory, I'm going to create my module. And with this, I'm just going to call it test.py. And this module should be created inside of our package directory. Now, again, I'm going to keep this really simple. We're not here to look at the Python code. We're more here to focus on the package. I'm going to put in a really simple function and only one function. There is no real point in sharing something as simple and superfluous as I'm going to put in. But we're not really here to learn Python. We're here to concentrate on learning how we create and manage our packages. So I'm just going to run something simple, add two numbers, and then, of course, we can return those two numbers added together. So we're good to go with this. Now, as I say, this is really simple and superfluous, but that's the idea as well as the test PyPi site that we're going to upload to. So we're just about ready now. We can go through and open up our command line and actually see if we are truly ready to run this. So let's return to our glorious command line, just open it up a little bit, and you can see that I'm sat at the top level of my project. When I list that, we see the license, the README file, the package directory, our setup file. So this is looking good. But we also want to check inside of the package directory. And when we look here, we see the dunder init, but we're not actually seeing the file because I made a simple mistake earlier, which is why we should be testing this. The test PY, I put in the wrong location. I put in the top level project directory where this is the module that we are sending out with our package. So of course, then I'm just going to drag this across and place it in the package directory. So now as I list my package directory, we see the dunder init and the test.py file. So this is good. And of course, if I list my working directory, we're back now just license, readme, the package directory, and then the setup file. There is no test file in the top level directory. So the correct structure that we should be looking at is my support files in the top level directory of my project. Any of my modules will exist inside of my package directory. And now the good stuff. So let's do a Control L to clear my screen and then run Python or Python 3, depending on your system, and our setup.py. And we want to create the source distribution file. So this is literally the sources, and these will be in a tar.gz file. And then our binary distribution file, which is going to be based around the wheel format. Now, if we look inside of my project, that's created a build directory, which is a temporary working directory, but also a dist directory. It's the dist directory that is going to have my tar.gz file and my wheel file. Now again, for ease, I'm clearing my screen with Control and L, and we can now look at twine, which we added earlier. We can check that everything is correct as far as twine is concerned. So we're checking the contents of the distribution directory, so dist /**, And we can see then that it's checked the correctness of the wheel file and the tar.gz file. Having verified that everything is ready to upload, then we can upload. But let me just do it a simple way. Rather than type the command and seeing all of my errors, let's just paste it in. But it's twine upload -- repository URL and then https:// test.pypi.org and /legacy/. Make sure there's a space between the URL and the local directory. And of course, that's going to be dist/*. But this is always going to be the same because there's nothing relating to your project here. It is always going to be the dist and /* files that we are uploading. But you have to have an account registered. Once you register the account, of course, you have a username and a password. You must set up two-factor authentication, and then you can set up an API. It is all really quite easy, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. But you save your API, which is your authentication token locally, and then we can paste that in here. Now, it's not going to show, so I can just hit the Enter key, and then you can see we've uploaded both of those files. So that's now available to anybody who wants. We're going to move out and create a new PyCharm project now, because there's no point testing here because we know we have the file locally. So let's go through and create ourselves a brand new PyCharm project. And of course we can name it. The name doesn't really matter because it doesn't relate to anything we've done so far. So I'm just calling this a simple test. We can create it, open it up in a new window, and you can see then that it has created the new project. Now, the first thing to do is actually the important thing and actually test that we can download. So I'm opening up the command line environment in my new Python project, which of course will have its own Python virtual environment. Again, for ease, I will paste it in, but we've got pip install, the index URL, again downloading from test.py.org, but now we're using simple rather than legacy. And this is just the historical way the system works. We, of course, need to download our package, and this is going to be the same package name that we download that we created. But instead of using underscores, the elements are going to be separated by dashes. So it becomes my -simple -test -package -tup. And believe me, my friends, we are pretty close to perfection now. So with our package created, we can create a new Python file. It doesn't really matter where it is, but I'm just calling it my test. And then we can go through and use from. And now we're back to the proper name, my_simple_test_package tup. And then we want the module test, import, and then my add two numbers. And we can see that we're getting all of the tab completion. So it is all looking very good. Again, just my AI tools in my editor is giving me a little bit of help guessing what I want to do. So it adds in then our result and print. And we can see then that 3 + 5 does truly equal 8. But look at this, we have definitely been able to upload and download a Python package. And I really hope this helps you. If it does, please give me a like. It's going to help other people find it, and maybe even subscribe to my channel for more videos like this.
All that is left to say is thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this, then you are probably sadder than I first thought. For more of this drivel, please subscribe, like and comment to @TheUrbanPenguin.